getting a solid amount of people in. That's what I love to see. For those who are missing, we will be posting a recap, both audio and video on YouTube, so everybody will get a chance to catch up and learn what they missed. For those who are unfamiliar with the format, we will go over 10 pre-picked questions from Twitter, then we open up a chat for live questions. The whole thing should be about 1 hour, give or take. And yeah, that's about it. While we wait, Enrique, could you please give us a brief introduction about yourself, maybe some words about EverRise and how you gotten in with the project?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, of course, of course. Happy to be here, man. Happy to support you guys the same way that you support us. You're one of the coolest exchanges that I have come to know, to be honest. And we have been 3 years in that space. Uh, and you see many things in 3 years. 3 years in crypto are probably like 30 years in other things. Uh, and in this case, we have seen many changes, and not many do things the right way. Not many actually care about their customers and the people that use their platform. And you guys do, and you guys care about people too, and you take the time to get to know the people that the projects that you have in your exchange, which is awesome. You have a very smart community, as I can see too. I have seen great questions, and I have been preparing because you have some tough questions, and I love that. Yeah, my name is Enrique. I'm 40 years old. I'm a lawyer. I'm from Venezuela. I actually got into EverRise. I got into crypto because I'm a bit of a gambler, a conscious gambler, actually. I don't put money I can afford to lose. But in my case, since in my country there were many restrictions and stuff like that, and actually a high inflation rate, I said, okay, we have a high inflation rate, so I'm gonna gamble a bit in some, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or altcoins to begin with, and then I probably won't suffer as much because if you have a, I don't know, 200% inflation a year, and you see a dip of 50% in Bitcoin or something like that, that doesn't make you sweat. It's like I'm way better. So I got into crypto. I got into many DJ plays. I got into things that could make a 10x, a 100x, a 1000x. You go through many projects, probably 300 have been. I when I started using EverRevoke, one of our tools, it was funny because I saw more than 300 projects that I gave access to my wallet when I bought those tokens. So yeah, it was really funny. So I got into EverRise at some point, June of the year 2021. My sister saw something on Twitter about the first buyback system in crypto, posted by an influencer. And she said, okay, this is something different. And it's a pre sale. Let's see if we can get into that. So I remember I put one BNB. It was a 10,000 BNB pre sale that went immediately. It took like 2 seconds to get sold, which was insane to see. I actually put one BNB and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give some time and see if I can, if the pre-sale starts to fill up nicely, I would buy another one. There was no chance for that. I was one of the few that got lucky and got something on pre-sale. Um, After that, I got to know the project. I saw how team members' dogs. I saw, the usual things, audits, and starting to build stuff. I saw a huge bump, of course, like we always do in new tokens with hype. And since then, the project has been like way more mature, and it has been dedicated to build actual solutions that are needed. Um, the team is completely, well, it's not completely different. There's several people that remain, but also, the bear market played a role into that, and it made us stronger. The community is stronger. The people that is in the team is people that actually believe in the project. The people that support in the community is people that believe in the project, and that's a great thing, to be able to to have to know what's real and what isn't. And in crypto, there are many things that aren't real, and I'm really happy to be where we are now. A year ago, a year and a half ago, or something like that, I was being first. I was a mod. I started as a mod. I just wanted to.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I think I'm having some connection issues on my side. Uh, but thank you for this intro, Enrique. It was very great to hear about your journey and kind of how you segued into EverRise and I guess you are completely right. 3 years in crypto is like 30 years in regular business terms. Can you hear me well now? Just checking that we can continue normally.
Yeah, man, perfect. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sounds good. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't think I've ever had a Twitter Spaces without any issues of some sort. Always something.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it happens. Don't worry.
without further yeah without further ado, let's start on with the questions. So the first one, how does EverRise aim to enhance security and provide multi-chain solutions in Web3 ecosystem, particularly within the DeFi space, to improve accessibility and safety for the users?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, actually, when we talk about multi-chain, there's something really simple out there that it's like the elephant in the room. Many people don't talk about it, but there's something really important. Most of the contracts that are out there and most of the bridges that are out there, you use in their functions the mint and burn function, which is what usually hackers exploit. So many projects out there. We saw many exploit of breaches last year, including multi-chain and many others. Uh, and what happened with them is that what a hacker does is he attacks a function that is called mint. They mint new tokens, and then they sell those tokens. So if the contract has a function, they can use it, and that's terrible because what they do in their breaches is they mint tokens in one side and they burn it in the other one. So let's say you were on BNB, those tokens are burned and they create new ones on Ethereum, for example. So the hackers usually can use that same function that they use to mint tokens and be able to then sell those tokens, which is, so it's not ideal to say the least. So we came up with a different solution. We have a vault, and the way that the vault works is, let's say I'm the person that is going to breach the tokens and I'm on BNB side and I want them on Ethereum. So I send my tokens to the bridge with the UI that we have, and it gets to the vault. They get locked in there, and it unlocks the tokens on the other side. So not having that function of minute and burn, we don't have that problem, of exploits, which is really important because crypto is about safety, crypto is about security because you're handling funds. So if you have funds and you need to take to see that they're well taken care of. So in this case, we have that. We're really proud of that. And our bridge is on 5 chains, not just one. And it allows us to have things like the Evernative swap and other things because it's a great bridge. Transactions are really fast. They happen depending on the blockchain. Some blockchains are slower than others, but it doesn't depend on us. The bridge is almost instantaneous. But for example, if you go to bridge to Polygon, it might take a couple of minutes because that's how the network is. So yeah, so that's what we provide as something different, and that's the solution that we're bringing to the space that many other projects should have. Because if you have something that has been proven that is not working as it should and has risk, you should adapt. I think that many projects in the future will have something like this. It's not easy to develop. Actually, we had to migrate from B1 to B2 because of that, because we needed to have a way more robust contract to have this. And we're proud to have the bridge that we have. It also allows arbitrage, which is awesome because you see, for example, BNB going to 400, and then you see Phantom going to 0.36, which is going low. BNB pumping, Phantom going lower. There's people that sell some BNB, buy on Phantom, and it also applies for all the other chains. We're on Avalanche, Phantom, Polygon, BNB, and Ethereum. And some of our functions, like Process, even has Arbitrum too. So the sky is the limit when you have something like this already developed.
Awesome, this is great. Yeah, and you're absolutely right about, crypto is about security because you are handling funds, and I don't think that point is stressed enough within our industry because we see a lot of meme coins and people thinking funny stuff or like magic internet money, all that kind of things, and people don't take it very seriously. They don't really treat crypto as funds, but which it's exactly what it is, right? So that's definitely something we need to see more of. And the bridging part is awesome. And if, for the listeners, if you don't find an available bridge for EverRise, you can just use StealthEX. You can swap your Bitcoin or whatever meme coin you even want to EverRise without any issues on that regard. Anyways, continuing on with the questions. What are the key features of the EverRise ecosystem that sets it apart from other DeFi projects?
Yeah. Okay. The ecosystem is really complex. Actually, it has by now 8 apps on 5 chains, which is saying a lot. Most projects just launch in one chain, and then they try to go to other chains just as to get hype. They say we're gonna launch on Ethereum, we're gonna launch on Solana, we're gonna launch on Phantom, we're gonna launch on Avalanche, and they do it because they want to see the price going up. And that's not how it works in EverRise. In our case, we have ADS by now, and several of them has a user base at our project. So, for example, EverSwap, EverBridge, EverMigrate, those are tools that we offer to other projects. So, what we have is that uh, we launch in other chains because we want to have a bigger customer base, not holders of the tokens only, but also these projects that can use the app for migration, for swap, and in the future Everlaunch, Everlock, Evermigrate. I mean, we have all of these apps that can be used in 5 chains, and we can also expand to other chains if the community decides in the future. We have a system that is called Everon, and in there the community can have votes, and proposals can be made. We have a jazz club, which is about governance. So it's a really complex project. We're trying to get as DeFi as possible and as different as possible that everything is out there, because, like we said in the beginning, we want to do things right, and we see that there are many projects out there just trying to get money from the holders, and that's not okay. There's going to come a time when people is going to be looking for solid projects, and that's when they will look at EverRise. They will see like, okay, this guy's built something different. Each one of our DApps has something different. Like I mentioned, for example, with the bridge, that it doesn't have a mint and burn function, something that everyone expects a bridge to have a mint and burn function. We have something different in there too. So in every DApp, I could do the same. I could tell you this one is different because of this one is different because of this one. Even our NFTs. Our NFTs were the first lockable NFTs. The Riserals were the first lockable NFTs that there were in the space. And the code is out there. Projects can use them, and that way they won't have those NFTs hacked. Now we even have something better, which is stable. People can deposit their NFTs in a vault with 2 keys, and there are many things that are not known about EverRise, and they will be known in the future because people will start to use them. Their vaults will be created, the bridge, Ever Native Swap, Ever Revoke. All these things are things that people can come and say, okay, I need this because I need to be safer, and not just depend on my wallet and my 12 seed phrase, word seed phrase. Uh, I can just have a vault and have a second wallet as a second key. So it's kind of difficult to explain. It might take hours for me to explain EverRise, to be honest. But I think that's what separates us, is that having utilities that actually work. Uh, we have a technical channel that I haven't seen anything in the technical channel probably for 4 months, which is amazing. Uh, we haven't had any issues, and if I look back, probably 6 months before that, we probably have 2 cases of things that people didn't check well, and their tokens were there or something like that, and from a migration or something like that. So everything has been working great for many months, and that's what you want. And that separates us from others. We have a smart community that is willing to help and help people understand things. We have also a good liquidity. We are on 5 chains, so if one chain, for example, there was a moment when Phantom, people were thinking Phantom was going to disappear because it went really low immediate in days, and people were asking like, oh, what's going to happen if Phantom disappears? Like, okay, we have liquidity in other 4 chains. We would take a hit, of course, but it wouldn't be that EverRise is going to disappear because it's only one chain. Uh, so at that moment, we closed the bridge, so we don't had that kind of bad arbitrage that was happening. And then everything was normal after a few days. Phantom recovered. It was that moment when Andre Cronje left the team for a bit in there in Phantom, and then he came back, and everything was the way it was before. So uh, those things separate EverRise. So we have people in there. We have a technical analysis channel. The people that is there is really smart. We have our CEO always checking that channel. I mean, it's a project that actually we want to build stuff. And I think that's what separates us of most projects. I'm not saying every project is bad. There are many projects that are good out there. But we can agree probably that 95, 99% probably of the projects that launch are just trying to, get some money and disappear after. So it's good that the ones that remain and last and endure the bear market are connecting with each other now. And I think that's making DeFi better.
Fascinating. Yeah, it is so very true that in order for your project, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be an asset, anything. It has to bring utility and has to have a real use case. If it doesn't, it will eventually die out just because no one wants or needs to use that. And of course, just as you mentioned, I think a very good indicator is the project longevity and how it behaved during the bear market, right? Because we were in crypto recession, so to speak, for so long, and so many projects just went under pretty much instantly, but so many good ones persisted, built, endured, and now, well, now we are. I think it's safe to say officially in the bull market. BTC hit 61K today. We haven't seen it since what, late 2021, I guess, right? Or 22, when it was all-time high. So it's definitely a very, very positive uh, trend overall. But I guess while the trend is positive for the people out there, be careful. There will be a lot of new projects coming up, and a lot of them will be not aiming for a long term. And just be careful. Do not get burned during that bullish phase that we're entering right now. Let's keep going with the questions about EverRise. What problem does EverMigrate solve for DeFi project, and how does it simplify the migration process? How does EverOwn utilize community voting to enhance security and decentralization? So I guess that was two questions
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah. Okay, so EverMigrate. The issue that EverMigrate fixes is, when there are projects that they launch and they didn't like how the chart looked, and they go to a second chart, and they go to a third chart, and then they go to I've met projects even with six charts, and there's no reason to migrate, just that they want a new chart because the first one is ugly, the second one too. There are projects that actually want to do things in a legit way, and they want to migrate and have their holders in best interests. That's our experience with EverMigrate. EverMigrate is a tool where if you are a project owner and you need to migrate because of something, let's say a malfunction of the contract or something you need to improve or whatever, uh, what you need to do, what projects have done, for example, Bolt Inu, who is a well known project and has also endured the bear market. We have many friends in there. Started by Boltoshi, the founder. Uh, they decided, hey, these guys have a good tool, have good support. I want to have a clean and good migration. I'm gonna get the services from these guys so I can have a migration. So what we do in those cases is we have a DApp, which is that one, EverMigrate. People can connect in there and send their tokens with the DApp, and they immediately receive the V2 token. So they wouldn't have to do anything else. They wouldn't have to, usually projects have to calculate and do these things. We have a team that supports them with that. It's really important when you have a project. Many projects messed up. They do the wrong calculations, and then they have, uh, errors that are horrible. I have seen projects that for example, didn't lock the stop the trading on B1, and they were having whales that were dumping after people were migrating. The remaining tokens were dumped, and those projects probably lost 50% of their liquidity or more. There are many things that need to be considered in a migration, and many projects are not ready for that. Usually, when we see a project, they call themselves devs, the owners, and they're not devs. Many times there's just people that handles a contract. Tell the contract like, these are the taxes, or or mostly that they usually mostly handle taxes. So they don't have that level of knowledge like to handle a migration, which is more complex. So the problem that ever migrate fixes first is that one, that they're going to have a smooth migration. They don't have to worry. We have a team that is prepared to handle questions and to bring support. We have experience on how to do migration. We have done two in ourselves because we needed, for the first one we needed the bridge, and the second one we created the NFC staking lab, which is a really complex staking system. So we needed to upgrade the contract too. Uh, so with that experience, we learn what happens. Many times in migrations are scammers, so you need to have everything ready, including a team of people prepared to answer questions. So what we do is, even we go to those projects and we give support to them in their telegrams, in their discord, so people is safe. We explain to their teams what they have to do, and also this solves an issue that many projects have. I'm not talking about projects that probably have a year or something like that, but new projects, when they're going to migrate, you will see many developers or owners saying, hey, you need to send me your tokens because we're going to migrate. And it's like, why would you send your tokens to someone that probably is not docs, that you don't know, or anything like that? And what happens many times is that developers get the tokens and then they dump them. So to avoid that, and to have something real DeFi, and really, completely decentralized, the person can connect themselves to the UI, to the app, and they can immediately receive their tokens of E2. They don't have to interact with anyone, just the platform. And in the other thing, in Everon, regarding to Everon is a contract locker. That solves another big problem that there is. Actually, we have Chain Salting, which is the company that did the audit for V3. It's a great company of audit. They actually did the audit of ApeCoin, and they took the time to check our contract line by line with our developers to see that everything was good. We appreciate that a lot. And they also recognize Everon, the contract locker, as a solution to a problem that exists in DeFi, which is this. Many projects launch a token and they renounce the contract after, because they say, if we don't renounce the contract, people is not going to trust in us. And that's terribly wrong, because if there's a malfunction, if they need to migrate or anything, they cannot do it. Just because they cannot stop trading, they cannot, interact if the contract is stuck or anything like that. So what we offer is something simple. You deposit the contract in Everon, and with a simple vote from the community, you gain the control back. But there needs to have a vote. So projects won't have to worry about their contracts being renounced. So that's really important, and it's a great solution, because it's like in the middle. You're not renouncing the contract, but you have to trust, because the contract is locked and you cannot do anything with the contract. Uh, so it has worked great for the projects that have taken them. And regarding to security, we haven't had any issues with that. Our contract is locked in Everon, of course, and the community votes. Like when we migrated to V3, the community voted to unlock the liquidity to move it to V3 because it was needed. And we always use Everon when it's needed. So it's always a great problem. Renouncing is not the right way, actually, in DeFi. And more projects will understand that with time. Sadly, many times we explain it and they don't understand it immediately, because many projects are there to say, hey, I renounce the ownership. It's completely safe now. You can put your money in here. But what happens if the contract gets stuck? What happens if you need to migrate because of something? You know, what happens if you want to change the taxes? What happens if you want to change the reward token? You need to migrate to another contract. You cannot do it. So with this, you can. It will be just like unlocking the contract, asking the community a vote. If the community trusts you, there's a vote. You get the contract, and you can do what you need to do. So it's a pretty important thing, and I think that both EverMigrate and Everon are about decentralization.
This is awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. You say pronouncing and just basically leaving it as is. For some people, they don't distinguish between the ownership And the management aspects, they think the one who manages it's the same entity owns the things, which is entirely not true. We see the biggest and most consistent projects out there. They are being managed by the community. Each community member does their part, and that's how they persist. That's how they develop. That's how they increase their presence, and that's how they grow essentially. So there's definitely a huge distinction between those those two concepts, and people in crypto ought to understand that owning is not the same as managing, and managing is not the same as owning. And it's definitely great to see that every decision gets, of course, put to the community like a true DeFi, in a true DeFi sense. The community decides what to do, what's the next step, lock or not, etc., which is definitely a right way, in my opinion. All right, let's keep going with the questions. Can you delve deeper into the concept of EverRevoke and how it empowers users to manage access to their wallets and review active token approvals across 5 blockchains? How does this enhance security and control for token holders in the DeFi landscape?
Yeah, of course. EverRevoke is, I would say, one of the best tools that we have. It doesn't generate anything to the token. It just some exposure because people see that EverRevoke is a tool of EverRise. But it's a gift that Suresh, our CEO, wanted to give to DeFi. EverRevoke is as simple as this. So let's say we buy a token. The token is gonna be called I don't know, Rabbit Far Inu. That's the one that we use as an example because it doesn't exist. So you will go and buy Rabbit Far Inu. And what happens in there is that you don't know who launched it. You're just doing a DJ play, right? You don't know who the developer is, or if the contract is malicious or anything like that. And in that case, it would be like, okay, so, and I'm gonna say Rabbit for as much as possible because it's funny, but it would be like, okay, I gave access to my wallet to this contract to this token. The thing is that when you buy, you are not signing anything. You got it in your wallet. But when you sell Rabbit for you're signing something. You're giving it permissions to interact with your wallet and potentially drain your wallet. And most of the tokens that are out there, most of the projects that are out there in the contracts require an infinite percentage of uh, permission. Our contract doesn't have that. Our contract is if you're going to sell 100 tokens, it will require permission for 100 tokens. But I can guarantee you that if you go to EverRevoke, which is on b3app.everrise.com, you will find many tokens in there in your wallet that will say infinite permissions and granted. And in our case, if you buy some rice and you're going to sell it, it will say the exact amount that you gave permission to sell. So many people forget about the things. I bought a token, I sold the token. They think I don't have anything in my wallet. I like I don't have to worry about it. It's not there anymore. But the permissions are, and the contract can interact with your wallet. So it's something so simple, and yet people sometimes forget about that. EverRevoke is completely free to use, so you can just go to the page, uh, revoke the contracts that are there that have permissions. I even revoke USDT, USDC, everything, even stables, because to give permission again, what you need to do is when you buy or sell something, it will require permission again, and that doesn't cost anything. It costs probably a cent or something like that. Um, but you will be safe. So in my case, I had 300 or more tokens that I granted permission in my Degen wallet for a long time, for years. And whenever Revoke came out, I spent probably 2 hours revoking those permissions, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm such a Degen." But it's great to be in a project like EverRise because you learn a lot, and that's something that everyone should use. EverRevoke is a tool that everyone that is listening in here should go and use because probably you will pay gas fees. You pay gas fees only, but that's from the network. That doesn't have to do anything with EverRise. It's your BNB chain or your Ethereum or the chain that you are. and they're really low. I revoked like 20 contracts for $1 on BNB or something like that. So if you were on 20 projects and you want to revoke the permission so they don't have access to your wallet in any way, and you can sleep a bit safer. And I say a bit because there are other things that you can do too, of course, uh, like default and other things. But if you do that with $1, you'll revoke 20 permissions, which is awesome. So ever revoke, again, everyone should use it. It's really simple to use. It's really user friendly, and you will be amazed of how many tokens probably you have in there.
This is great. This is actually a very handy feature. I was always impressed how easily people connect their wallets to different things, and you don't really like the application you're connecting it to. It might be such. It may not even be malicious, but it may be very poorly written, and it's just sketchy to connect your wallet to anything. And I was always impressed by people just connecting it to everything, because I'm very suspicious, and I try to connect my wallet to as little as possible. And actually, my main wallet is not connected to anything. It's when I use some other things, I transfer funds to my other wallet that is connected to one thing. So I'm trying to make sure to leave as little information and a digital footprint as possible. But then having this feature, yeah, people should just go see what are they connected to and revoke the permissions, because the permissions are there to stay, and it can lead to very sad results and exploits in the future, which sadly we've seen a lot recently. All right, we have a couple more questions left before we will move to the live part. With Rise available on multiple blockchain, how does EverRise handle token management across these chains? Are there specific mechanisms to ensure unified and balanced supply, especially considering the goal of unified DeFi across different protocols?
Yeah, that's a great question. We love the bridge. Every riser, I think, and I believe, love the bridge because it also creates volume. People buying one chain, sell on the other. Since we're a tax token with 5% that goes to the stakers, it creates that volume that is needed for the rewards. And not just that, you have people buying, you have people selling, but you also have people doing arbitrage, and that creates another type of volume. Because we have seen, for example, Ethereum going to 3.3K or something like that from 1.2, and then you see, for example, other chains that are lacking like Phantom, and people take advantage and buy on Phantom cheaper price, sell on Ethereum, so that creates volume, and that's part of what a token want, right? So what we have as a bridge, and how it handles everything is that we have a one supply. It's just one supply. I think right now, let me see, because I want to give you the exact number, but we have a page actually that is called Stats EverRise, and we can see in there right now our total supply is 69 billion tokens, almost 70, 69,937. We had 71.6 billion. We have a burn of 1.68, and now we are around 69,937. That's the total amount that will be across all the chains. So we have, let's put it this way: if our supply is 69 billions, and there are right now, let's say, 20 billions on Ethereum, 20 billions on BNB, while the other 39 are between the other chains. And the way it works is, like I said before, we have a vault. Imagine the vault in the middle of all the bridges. Imagine 5 bridges, and then in the middle a vault. So if some tokens from Ethereum are going to BNB, they go to the vault and they get unlocked on BNB. So it will always be one supply. It will always be those 69 billion tokens. There won't be any more tokens. There will be less. There will be less because there's burn. We have a burn. It's called Swarm, and from some transactions that happen, for example, on EverSwap, and some of the arbitrage. Uh, some of those transactions, including the NFT stakes when they move and all these things, have some percentage of fees that actually are used to burn tokens. Uh, and the burn it depends. When there's more volume, of course, there's more burn. Uh, We were celebrating a few weeks ago that we had that 1.5 billion burn, and then right now we're on 1.68. And that means a lot because this is a consolidated project. We have been 2.5 years in the space. It's not like we're burning tokens like crazy. It's something that has value. It's some tokens that are actually being bought. They're bought and then they're burned. So it's true burn. It's not like we have 50% of the supply on a side. We're gonna keep burning and it doesn't have any value. Many projects do that. Like I'm gonna burn 80% of the supply. That doesn't have any value because they were never in circulation. So we have taken, all the I would say the longest road, but it's the right one, and we believe in the time it will pay off because when you do things right, eventually they pay off, and that's what we want to do. So yeah, it's just one supply, and it will always be that amount that I said, less burn, and it's split between the five chains. So that's how it works.
Awesome, awesome. Funny that you mentioned the concept of a true burn, and that's like the burning things are not circulating, and never was were intending to. They're not really doing anything, like not changing anything by that burn. And it's funny that you mentioned that concept of a true burn. Anyways, looks like we have one question left, and then we will open up the chat for the live ones. In your opinion, will EverRise development direction be most attractive to financial institutions and large organizations? To do that, how has EverRise team tried and succeeded?
Well, EverRise, and I'm gonna speak right now as a community member. I'm not gonna speak as a team member. We like to have that separation. We have EverRise, the company, EverRise Inc., and we have the token. Uh, the token has many utilities right now that are using the token as fuel, and more will come. So the token makes sense. The token has a utility. We're also gonna use the same token for the blockchain, and there's going to be a use case for that blockchain that Suresh will tell us in the future. It's really difficult to say things in this space because sometimes you set them and other projects copy them, and we have seen them probably, that to my recollection, around 3 times. That we said something and immediately it's like, okay, these guys copied this, and it sucks. It sucks because, but there's always something that is good, that they don't have the right execution, or they do it just to create hype, and they don't develop, they don't deliver. So it is a difficult space. In our case, ever I think is gonna be looking for fundings to continue growing development. Right now, we have 6 developers in our facility in India. We have a location in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a city where uh, Google has a development center, and it makes sense because there's great talent in there, and the costs are cheaper than, let's say, for example, other countries. So we adapted because this bear market has been long, and if we didn't, we wouldn't have survived. Because when you have big expenses, then at a few months you have to say, okay, I'm looking down because I don't have a way to continue. And that happened to many projects in this bear market. In our case, we decided, okay, our goal is to develop the DApps. We need to have the DApps ready. Uh, the goal of Suresh is that he's working on that, and we want to have, or it would be, I think, in total it would be 11 DApps or something like that on 5 chains, which is insane. When you think about that, it's like not many projects have 1, 2, or 3 DApps, and where our DApps are not copy paste. We haven't copied anything from anyone. Like it was the first buyback system in the space. For example, EverSwap has a function. It reduces the price impact and the impact that the swap and liquify function has in the charts. Uh, EverMigrate, how what I explained it before, is different than what is out there. You probably won't, if you try to remember one, you probably won't remember another project that is offering a migrating solution. So we build infrastructure, we build solutions, and that's we have been speaking, for example, with communities like Certic, and they say security is not sexy. It's something that, but it's something that is needed. And in some point, people will turn to EverRise like, okay, these guys have this and this and that. Or the group of projects that we usually get approached with by uh, in the bear market reduce, of course, too, because in the bull it was like all the time projects like, hey, we're doing this and we need to do that, we want to be listed on Everswap, we want to use Everbridge, we want to use Evermigrate. And now we have been approached by projects that, they want to migrate because Evermarket was horrible for them and they want a new chart, for example. Or they right now, or the bridge, they want to use the bridge. Those are the ones that people, the projects want to use more. uh, but it took that. It took adapting. It took preparing mentally that it was going to be a difficult bear market. And I think we were all prepared for even a longer bear market. I think we were all saying like, okay, the bull run won't start until, a year ago or more or something like that. And that helped. And the community and the friends that we have made along the way helps too. Thank you everyone that is in here. Love you guys. uh, and it's like we decided we want to do something right. We want to grow. Every project, every person that gets into crypto wants to grow, wants to build their portfolio. And but the difference with Rise is that we want to do it the right way. Everyone in here, I believe, is people that wants to see something successful because it's good tools that are helping people, and as a consequence, we want to grow. So regarding to, we haven't given any tokens to anyone. We haven't given tokens to BCs or anything like that because that will go completely against the project and the people in the project, the holders. Because many projects go and give tokens to, for example, venture capitals, and then those venture capitals end up dumping because they got in with better conditions, 20%, 30% of discount, and that wouldn't be fair to people that actually pay for the liquidity of the project, and then but the bot tokens from the pool. So regarding to marketing, we don't have a marketing fee. We do everything organic, and that's something that in the future we believe it's going to be something important because as regulations come and as things get more serious, many of the projects that are out there are going to be under the loop. They're going to be checked by organizations that dedicate to these things like the SEC. Because we see projects out there that say we're going to be listed on Coinbase, and they get $1 million in taxes for marketing, just taxes for marketing, because of that buy and pump and dump event, and then they can disappear, and that shouldn't be like that. People should be held accountable for what they do wrong. So in our case, it has been a difficult road, I would say. It has been a road of persistence, uh, but we have been trying to do it the right way. Like, we don't take money from people that offer in an easy way with a discount, asking for a discount because that will go up against the holders. We haven't took any marketing funds from a really long time ago. I would say almost 2 years, or year and a half, or something like that. We have a group of people that have helped. Guard, who was a lawyer from Oxford, and also Peter from Harvard. They actually took care of these things and shape everything in a way. We're registered in Singapore, United States, and India. So when the time comes for something serious, and that's what real funds and inversion is, or something like that, they will check, then we'll be ready. And with the DApp working and everything tested and everything polished, and there's people that probably sometimes doesn't know, like, okay, hey, what have we done in the last 8 months? We got CrossX, we got Diebold, which are, I want to talk a bit about Diebold because it's really fast, but people should know this too. We have a tool that is called Diebold. Uh, it is as simple as this. You know that you have your wallet and you protect your seed phrase. It's 12 words or 24 words, depending on how you choose, you know, to have it. For example, if you have Trust Wallet, usually it's 12 words. So we go and copy it in a piece of paper. We hide the paper. We put it on a cipher, which is a metallic instrument that you can put it in and save it in a place, against fire and stuff like that. When you do that, that's completely fine. but still the risk that someone might guess it, which is highly unlikable, but improbable, but it can happen. uh, or you can have someone that have access to that piece of paper because they found your place where you hide it, right? With Default, you will have a second layer of security. You go to our website, you create the vault, and it will ask you for a second seed phrase. So you provide, sorry, not a second seed phrase, a second address. You create a second wallet, you save that second seed phrase and keep it safe and apart from the first one, and you will have an address, right? You put that address in the vault, and it will be like two keys. So when you want to move tokens outside of that vault, you will need to approve in that second wallet the moving the tokens. So we have right now a challenge, and Suresh, our CEO, actually let me pin it. Let me find it and pin it. We have a challenge right now where Titan, how we call it, actually, because we love him. He posted this. Let me see. Give me a second. Okay, here. Gonna pin it. He posted the private key of his wallet, and he's pinned right now. And anyone can just copy that private key and go and export it. Sorry, import it. They can open the wallet, and they will see the tokens in there. And we have had plenty of people trying to remove those tokens from it, but they can't because they don't have access to the second wallet. So he must be laughing at us because there's plenty of people trying to get those $10,000 that are there, and they haven't been able to. So there's no better proof that it works that then. Uh, and we're really happy to have things like this. EverRise works. Everything that we use work. We had a migration with, I think it was 15K holders on B1, and it works flawlessly. We don't have any problems with the DApps. They're all working fine. If you use Everswap, it will work better than, and we use Dexes as backend, but our app or the app of Swap is really easy to use. You don't have to put slippage. It's really clean. Everyone can swap in here without any problems. So every tool has been made in that way. And the ones that weren't made that way, for example, we had Ever Migrate on B1. It was really, like simple. It was all white. It was like a Word Excel, something like that page. Now we have it on B3. It was ported to B3, and now it looks awesome. Ever Native Swap, Ever Bridge, they're all ported now to B3 app.everrise.com, and it's like we're proud of that. It takes time. There's a lot of time to get things done, but people know that Suresh is building, and that's what matters. And the whole community is amazing. This is a group of friends right now, and friends that understand and support each other. I'm really happy. uh, so thank you for being here, guys, again. And yeah, man, I don't know if there are questions that I might be able to ask to answer.
Awesome, awesome. No, that was such comprehensive session, especially the last part with the double security layer for the wallet, and I really like the way it's being approached. It's just, hey guys, here's the private key. Go and try it. It's definitely a very, let's say, a very straightforward way to prove a point in this case, and it's fascinating. I'm seeing a lot of hands, and we still have a couple more minutes. Let's take some questions. Seeing some people been here since the very beginning. MIA, I'm opening, letting you the speaker. Mia, you can speak now. You have to unmute yourself.
Audible. Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. It's been a very
Yeah, we can hear you. You can answer a question. You have to
okay,
unmute
okay.
yourself.
All right. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. Well, it's been a very informative, amazing EMA. Well, I love what your CEO did regarding the private key. So on your website, I discovered you offer quite a lot of amazing products. So my question was actually regarding the Ever Launchpad. Yeah, I noticed it's a multi-chain anti-bot launchpad on your platform. So can you walk us through the steps and procedures on how project owners can apply to launch their project and token on this launchpad? What measures have been implemented to properly vet and verify the authenticity of projects being launched on this launchpad? And how much do you charge for your launch fee? Thank you.
Hey, buddy, thank you for the answer, MAA. We are actually in development right now of the NFT marketplace. If you check EverLaunch, you'll see that it says soon. It's one of the last two DApps that we're development. It should be in the next months. But we don't have those guidelines yet. I mean, I'm sorry I cannot help with that information because it hasn't been provided. But we have been focused like on having one DApp after the other, finishing the one that needed to be finished, and now we're about to launch the marketplace, 90% ready. Uh, I would love to give you an answer. I know there are going to be some measures, like anti-bot system and stuff like that because Suresh mentioned it, but we're not still, we don't have ever launched yet.
All right. Secondly, I don't know if I'm allowed to just ask the second question. Stealth. Yeah.
Let's give another people a chance. That was a good
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ricky, let's take a couple more. We still have a couple more minutes left. Trying to find someone who has been here since the very beginning. This person has been here. Carl, I think you're the speaker now. Carl, you can speak. You have to unmute yourself. There's a little microphone icon on the left side of the phone. Yes, go on.
Yeah, so I wanted to know like what are your plans for AI moving forward?
Our plans for moving forward? Well, yeah, we're gonna launch the marketplace. That's the next one, the next app that we'll have out. It'll have different features. It'll have inside of it things like cross-X, Evolt, Ever Revoke, and other things. Also like handshake deals and other things. But besides the marketplace, we're gonna have Everlock and Everlaunch, and in the future the blockchain. Uh, every blockchain needs to have a real utility because you don't launch a blockchain without just to launch a blockchain because you want to see the price going up. So we're gonna launch a blockchain that will have a real utility. That will be used because of that. Every blockchain that has been successful is because they have something to offer that is different than others. So yeah, those are our plans moving forward, uh, and we have been delivering for 2.5 years, and all these apps that I mentioned before and different chains. So it's just we're working on finishing and getting things done that we promised. If you check our roadmap, we have a roadmap on Telegram, and I could post it in here too. Uh, is every app that we have ready is completely ready. So now we're gonna finish these three. That's how focused we are. It's like if you go and speak to our CEO Suresh, he will tell you NFT marketplace. That's what's next, and then the other two. And I have seen tests of Everlock, and I know he was working in the launchpad at the same time because he's like that. And then he appears and he's like, "Oh, this is ready." We have the luck to have a developer like that and a CEO like that. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna finish the apps and then we'll go for the blockchain hopefully.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl, for your question. Enrique, do you want to take any more?
Yeah, man.
We
Of
still have
course,
a
I'm
couple
here.
more. Yeah, let's get one or two more before we run out of time. This person has been here for a while. Mr. Joy B, I think you're the speaker.
Okay, am I audible?
You can, yes, we can hear you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, man.
Yes, yes, you we can hear you. Go.
Okay, my question is, I just want you to tell me, uh, can you elaborate on more on how the EverRise token is being used by the ecosystem?
Yeah, man, of course, of course. The token itself, like I said, for example, when there are fees on how moving the NFT stakes from one chain to the other, or for example, now with Diebold, uh, I will explain that, for example, the Swarm comes from that, from fees that are taken from using these apps like the NFT staking lab. So when you do that, uh, tokens are bought and burned, which reduces the supply, and it's something that many people want. Of course, we all want that. We want to have less tokens in circulation in the hands of stronger people that believe in the project, right? So, for example, uh, every DApp at some level will most of the DApps will use the token. For example, in Devolt, which was the last one that was released, uh, what we can see is that people is creating these bolts and they're getting 20,000 rise, which is like $3 to create their bolt. So they buy the rise token and those tokens are burned. So, if someday we have thousands and thousands of bolts, right now we have probably, I don't know, probably 200 volts or something like that. But if someday it is thousands of volts because people see value and it's like, okay, my tokens and my NFTs, because we can also deposit NFTs in there, uh, see value and there are thousands of those, there will be thousands of millions of rice burned. And then you will have that will increase the price, and then having those bolts will be more expensive too. So it's a long process. It's a process when, like in every token, where you see where tokens come from one hand to the other, and the second hand probably is stronger than holding that the first one that bought it cheaper. Different levels and consolidations, and the blockchain will also use the token rise as a fuel. Everything has been thought in that way. Suresh has been like adapting to give sense to the token, not just to have a token, random token. He cares a lot about the community and he wants to to retribute that support that the community have given to him. We listened to him in spaces, and in one of the last spaces he said, like, I'm a part of the community. He gave some tokens for prizes some time ago. We had a promotion, and he was giving his own tokens for that. He hasn't sold any tokens, so he will find ways for the app to give value to the token, actually, to have a real utility. So yeah, it would be like that. It would be like, you will need to get rights to do some things in the ecosystem, and that's how it works.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you, and good luck for the
Thank
project.
you for your question. All right, Ricky, I think we did it. It was a very nice session. Very glad to hear about everything EverRise. I'm sure our community did as well. Uh, for those who missed it, we will be posting recaps first on Twitter or X, and then we'll be posting a YouTube recap as well, so your community will be able to catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there anything you want to say
Yeah,
before
man.
we wrap
Of
this
course, I
up?
have to say something, man. I'm really grateful to be here. You guys have been amazing. We have been planning this AMA for probably a month and a half. I gotta give it to you guys. You guys are not just looking for engagement. You really care. You wanna understand the projects that you have in the platform. You have been really open to understand what we do, and I am really happy that there are exchanges like you guys that are not just thinking about. Because of course, you may get fees from transactions and all of that, and that's the idea. But you never approach to us like, we want to get these many thousands of dollars to get you listed, or we want tokens or anything like that. You just listed because it was the right thing to do. And I think every riser should support StealthEX and follow them. It's a really nice, one of the few, because I have met probably I'm not gonna say hundreds, but probably dozens of exchanges that I spoke with, and they're not the same. So thank you for having these spaces, man, and thank you for being so kind.
Thank you for your words, Enrique. I really appreciate you coming on, and let's see what we can do in the future. Let's give the man a round of applause. Definitely well deserved. And everybody here, have a great rest of your day.